Every time you buy a cheap shirt in a Western store, there is a place on the other side of the world that pays the real price. It's a place where rivers run thick black, where the air is foggy and choked with chemicals, and where children work 12 to 16 hours a day just to survive. The people here are making clothes for the biggest brands, the very same brands worn in the richest countries on earth. Every year, this country supplies the world with billions of dollars of fashion, yet its people remain trapped in poverty. How does that even make sense? How can a country that produces so much still have so little? By the end of this, I promise you, you will never look at your closet the same way again. Okay, to truly grasp what's happening, we need to focus on the country itself. Bangladesh, a nation of 170 million people, that's half the population of the United States, crammed into a piece of land smaller than Florida. It sits in South Asia, squeezed between India and Myanmar, and today many call it one of the most toxic countries on earth. But listen, this toxicity isn't natural. It came from something very specific, something you are probably wearing right now. Bangladesh is the second biggest clothing exporter in the entire world. Go check the tags in your closet, your H&M shirt, your Zara jeans, your Gap hoodies, that Walmart dress, all of it. There is a really good chance that tag says made in Bangladesh. But those little fabric labels are hiding something way darker than anyone wants to admit. Decades ago, Bangladesh was simply a developing country trying to figure things out. Then the global fashion industry arrived. They were looking for one specific thing, the cheapest labor they could possibly find. Bangladesh said yes, and that yes changed everything. Almost overnight, thousands of factories appeared. International brands saw this as a gold mine. They could manufacture a shirt for practically nothing and sell it back home for $50. Today, almost half of everything Bangladesh makes goes straight to Europe. The rest, America and other rich nations consume it. On paper, this sounds like success, jobs created, money flowing in, economic progress. But something else began happening at the exact same time, something nobody talks about. And this is where the story gets truly dark. The factories needed massive unimaginable amounts of water to wash, dye and process millions of garments every day. So they started dumping everything into the rivers. Get this, every single day, 21,000 cubic meters of untreated industrial waste is dumped into just one river. We are talking about industrial chemicals, toxic dyes, human sewage, all of it pours straight in. The rivers literally started changing colors, blue, red, black the day after that. Whatever color they are dyeing at the factories, that's the color the river turns. Scientists tested the water for dissolved oxygen, the measure of whether anything can actually survive in it. You know what they found? Almost zero. These rivers are dead completely. They found lead, mercury, and those toxic chemicals called PFAS, the forever chemicals. They literally never break down. They stay in the environment forever and they cause cancer. But wait, here's the part that truly shocked me. People still use this water. They are bathing in it, washing their clothes in it. Their children are playing right next to it. And before you ask why, it's not because they don't know better. It's because they literally have nowhere else to go. They live in slums right next to these poison rivers, Tiny rooms, less than $1 a night, 6 people, sometimes 10, crammed into one space. No running water, no bathroom, nothing. And it's not just the water. Look up. The air in Bangladesh is some of the most polluted on the entire planet. It's thick with chemicals, dust and smoke from thousands of factories that never stop running. Just breathing there feels like you are smoking cigarettes all day long. If this is shocking, it absolutely should be. Share this video because I promise you, most people buying these clothes have absolutely no idea any of this is happening. We need to spread this truth. But wait, before we go further, I know what some of you are thinking. Why don't they just clean it up? Why is there garbage everywhere in the rivers and streets? Okay, listen. This isn't about people being dirty or having bad habits. That's a false narrative. You have 170 million people squeezed into a space smaller than Florida. More people than most entire countries. There is basically no garbage collection in the slums where these workers live. The government doesn't build proper waste systems because all the money disappears into corruption. The factories dump their waste because nobody stops them. They pay off whoever they need to pay off and just keep polluting. These people aren't choosing to live surrounded by garbage. They are making $100 a month, just trying not to starve. They can't hire waste removal or demand the government to fix things. They are not the problem. They are trapped in a system that treats them and their entire environment as disposable resources. Alright, now let me take you inside those factories. You are sewing shirts that will sell in America for $50. Your salary, $100 to $150 per month. That's it. For 70 to 90 hours of work every single week. And here is a common misconception we need to clear up. People think things in poor countries must be super cheap, so this money must be enough. But the truth is, prices for food, rent and medicine are rising fast in Bangladesh, often driven by the very same economy that makes the factories rich. This $100 barely covers rent for that tiny slum room. There is nothing left to feed a family, pay for medicine, or cover other basic needs. That's roughly 20 to 30 cents an hour. Could you survive on that? Even working those brutal hours, you can't make it. So your kids, they drop out of school to work. Because if they don't, the family doesn't eat. And it gets worse. More than half of all workers say they have been threatened or abused at their job. Most of them are women, and they get paid even less than men for the same work. If they complain, they get fired, and getting fired means your family starves, so they don't say anything, they just take it. 4 million children are working in Bangladesh right now. Some of them are 10 years old. When inspectors show up, factory owners coach their kids. You are an apprentice. You are just here to learn. But they are not learning. They are working full 12 to 16-hour shifts just like adults. Some sleep right there in the factory. Some don't see their families for an entire week. Children living away from their parents, working grown-up hours, getting paid almost nothing. But here is the question that should make you furious. If Bangladesh is generating billions in clothing every year, why are the people still desperately poor? Let's break it down. A shirt costs $5 to produce in Bangladesh. That same shirt sells in your store for $50. Where does that extra $45 go? The brand takes a cut. The store takes a cut. Shipping, marketing, executives. The workers actually making the clothes capture almost nothing of the value. Right now, Bangladesh economy is performing worse than it has in 36 years. Millions are falling into extreme poverty, even while producing more clothing than ever. That's called wealth extraction. Money flows in from clothing sales, but it flows right back out to foreign companies. The profit leaves, the poison stays. But we are not done. In the next video, I will take you even deeper into another place the world has forgotten. A place where something even darker is hiding in plain sight. Click it on screen and I will see you there.